Well, welcome to our final episode of Fox Sports Lab NRL. Josh Morris is alongside me, and it's grand final week. Josh, how are we feeling?
Oh, look, I'm excited for this weekend's game. Obviously, the two best sides all year finally get to face off in for what's going to be one hell of a match. But I've got to say, congratulations to you as well. Got
Thank
engaged
you.
this weekend, so you're joining the crew.
Yes, thank you very much. Committed to a lifetime. But let's talk about Sunday's game. Let's talk about firstly Panthers $1.60, Broncos $2.50. Any surprises there with the market?
No, I don't think so. I think Penrith are in their fourth grand final. They know exactly what it's all about. They're aiming to be the first team to win three premierships in over 40 years. So they are the favourites based on that and the way that they've gone about their business in the final series. I mean, they easily accounted for the Warriors in round one of the finals, and then last week they were way too good for a tied Storm pack. So yeah, they go in as favourites, but I've been saying it for a while now. I think Brisbane are the only side that can challenge them, and we're going to see that finally on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we talk about on the field where this game is won and lost between these two sides, the experience that Penrith have having been in this position, grand final week, everything that comes with preparations heading into such a big game, obviously is an advantage over Brisbane. But what experience did Brisbane take out of the players that have gone through Origin series and played in big games like this? It's not one for Penrith to look at them and be like, well, we've been here before and you haven't.
Yeah, that's it. I think that certainly helps when you have players that have been in the Origin arena, and some of their players have played in premiership sides as well. Adam Reynolds and Kurt Capewell. So it's about enjoying the week. You don't get to play the grand final too often, so you've got to really enjoy the week, embrace it. For Penrith, they're going to be on cruise control. They've done this for the last 4 years. They know exactly how to prepare and when they need to relax and when they need to hone in on their focus. And yeah, I think both sides are going to really enjoy this week, and we're going to see a spectacle on Sunday.
Let's talk about the style of football that these two teams play, because Brisbane have a very flashy style of football. They've got the likes of Rhys, Walsh at the back, Adam Reynolds sort of controlling with his kicking game, whereas Penrith, they're a very gritty side and they're very good defensively this season. How is this game, or where is this game won and lost on Sunday?
Yeah, look, I think we saw last year in Penrith's win over the Eels, they really went after their forward pack in the first 20 minutes. Moses Leota and James Fisher Harris really targeted their pack and got it over them. And if Brisbane aren't careful, that can certainly happen again. We've spoken about Brisbane's forward pack. They like to really play that power game through the middle of the ruck with the likes of Haas, Blake Blair and Carrigan. It's up to Leota and Fisher Harris again to nullify that, and then that doesn't bring in the likes of Rhys Walsh out the back. We saw on the weekend just his pace and the opportunities that he creates with his pace off the back of those forwards going forward. For Penrith, they like to play with their forwards, but they like to do their interchange of passing, and then as the game unfolds, it brings into their halves, Luai and Cleary. It'll be interesting to see what the plan is around Luai again, if he plays the full game this week, or if they have someone on the bench there that can sub in for him. But yeah, look, there's matchups all across this park, which makes it such an exciting contest. And as I said, I honestly think that the Broncos can really challenge them here.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk about the likes of Walsh and stuff. I mean, that's who we've been focusing on all season. And he comes up against Dylan Edwards, who's been incredible for Penrith for some time and consistent week in, week out. I suppose very different in different style of play between these two fullbacks. Who do you see winning this battle?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, this one. We got last year's Clive Churchill medalist, Dylan Walker, taking on Rhys Walsh, who had a fantastic Origin series. He's been electric in this final series and all year, mind that. Yeah, they do play differing styles. There's probably a lot more consistency and reliability in Dylan Edwards, but Rhys Walsh has that X factor, doesn't he? And we saw on the weekend he threw an intercept that led to a try, and it just didn't seem to faze him. You know, some fullbacks go into their shell and don't want to play those big risk plays. but it just didn't seem to faze him, and he got better after that error as well, which is an amazing thing. And he's going to need to come up with some big plays this weekend if his team's to win the match. And Dylan Edwards, I've got no doubt that he'll be one of the best players on the field come Sunday again.
It wouldn't be a grand final if we don't talk about halfbacks in Nathan Cleary and Adam Reynolds. Adam Reynolds, a veteran, at the back end of his career. He came up from South Sydney and he's talked about how he's fallen in love with this Brisbane team. Coming up against Nathan Cleary, who's the number 7 for the New South Wales Blues, has been incredible, and also to really, I suppose, a stalwart of that Penrith side. The kicking game of Reynolds, you would say, is one that they'd be very aware of.
I think both these halves have the best kicking games in the competition, and we've seen that for a long time with Reynolds, and Cleary's developed that over a number of years. And their boots could decide the game in terms of how they get their kicks away, but also their goal kicking. They're the respective goal kickers for their clubs, and they're going to try and take those 2 points when they're on offer. And those tries that they score in the corner off the likes of Cobbo or To'o, they're going to make sure that they nail those kicks as well to go up by 6s rather than 4s. So their halves, they've played a massive part in their season this year. And for Reynolds, it would be a great story, wouldn't it? He was discarded by South. They only wanted to offer him a year deal, but the Broncos offered him a 2 or a 3 year deal, and he's gone up there and he's made every post a winner for them. And they just look at a more relaxed, controlled side when he's in their side as well.
No doubt they were looking out for Brian To'o as well. He scored 9 tries in his last 5 finals games. So the outside backs on both teams are very much on fire at this time of year. And it's great that we're heading into a grand final with a 1-17 that are relatively healthy as well, despite a few concerns early in the week about Herbie Farnworth. We look like we're going to have a full strength side on both sides of the park this weekend. I want to get your tip first for who you think is going to be 2023 Premiership winner, Josh.
Oh, look, I'd love to see the Broncos win, but I saw a couple of signs last week in the Warriors game where they came up with a few errors. I just think if they do that this weekend against the Penrith Panthers, I think they're going to capitalise on that and score tries of it. So they pretty much have to play a perfect game to beat this Penrith side. So I've stuck with Penrith here. I think it's going to be close, though. But yeah, I think Penrith will secure the 3-peat and be the first team in 40 years to do it. And for my Clive Churchill medalist, I'm going to go with Nathan Cleary.
I have to agree with you on that one. I do think Penrith might just have the experience and the wealth of knowledge at this time of year to get the job done and do a 3-peat as well. My Clive Churchill medalist will be Dylan Edwards, potentially. Right. And first try scorer, Josh.
Yeah, look, I think we're going to have to lean towards Brian To'o as well. You mentioned 9 tries from his past 5 finals matches. He's red hot and he's in red hot form. So, I'll be tipping Brian To'o for first try scorer.
Just quickly talking about we talked earlier about how the build up to this week in grand final, when those 2 teams get out there, of course, stadium in front of a packed out, sold out crowd, just how or what is going through the mind of a player in that moment, and how long does it take them to get into the groove of the game?
Oh, look, I think you've got to take in the crowd as soon as you run out. That stadium doesn't get packed too often, so you run out there, you feel the crowd's voices hit you in the face. It's an amazing feeling, and then you take it in, and then that's it. You forget about it. You go out, and if there's plenty of Panthers jumpers in the crowd, well, the Broncos will want to silence them. And if there's plenty of Broncos jumpers, the Panthers will want to silence them as well. It's about trying to take out that crowd as much as possible and just concentrate on your football. And you've practiced all year for this. So it's about going out and implementing that and, trying to get that victory and win the big dance.
Yeah, absolutely. What a game to be involved in. And obviously both of these teams, Penrith and also the Broncos, dismantled 2 teams to be here in that grand final, that being, of course, the Warriors and also the Storm. Just a quick comment on both the Storm and Warriors season and what you'd like to see improvements in their area, for 2024.
Yeah, look, I think the Warriors, you would give their season an A+. They were outstanding. They won a lot of games away from home, which normally they haven't been able to do. Shaun Johnson was in career best form, so I think their success I think rides on Shaun Johnson. He needs to stay fit He's a big part of their side. They'll get back Luke Metcalf last year. I think he had a few injuries, and I think with him in the side a bit more, they'll be even better for it. And their forward pack's been outstanding. I think Wade Egan had a breakout year as well. So they need to build on that for next year and not be complacent with what they've done. But I think Andrew Webster's done a fantastic job for the Melbourne Storm. Look, they played most of the year without their best player, Pappenhausen, who's come back and sustain that injury. But the news is looking good that he will be in their side for round one. What their query is, I guess, it would be revolving around their forward pack. I think they need an aggressive forward to add to their pack to give them a bit more starch. I think they probably in games lacked that punch from a front rower. So, Craig was trying to get back Tino back to the Storm, and that certainly says something about what he's looking for as well. But I think they're going to be a better side next year if Pappenhausen can stay injury-free, and they'll be challenging again.
Yeah, absolutely. Just last thing before we let you go, Josh, you're in attendance like I am tonight at the Dally M Awards. Who takes out the Dally M medal?
Yeah, Johnson wins this one. I think the season that they've had, I think he would have polled a lot of points in most matches. So I think he'll win it in the landslide tonight.
Well, looking forward to it. Josh Morris, I've enjoyed every single episode with you throughout this whole 2023 season. Thanks so much for your time. Enjoy your footy this weekend. It's going to be an absolute cracker on Sunday night.
Thanks, Eloise.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.